everyone, it's Karen with Yes Please PaperCrafts, and in this video I'm going to be creating a scrapbook layout for the scrapartstash.blogspot.com challenge for the month of July. This is the What's My Challenge, Pick Your Word, and if you would like to participate in this challenge, I will leave a link in the description below to their website. You can just click on that link and find all the information you need to join in. So for this challenge, you must pick a word from the artwork over here and use that word on your layout. In addition, you have to pick a stash item that starts with each letter of the word you picked. And so after looking at this for quite some time, I finally decided to use the word happy because I just thought that one would work really well for the pictures that I have. I didn't really have a lot of 4th of July pictures or patriotic pictures, and so some of these would have been a little bit harder for me to use, like fireworks or sparklers. And besides, those two words have the letter K, which there's not too many things in your craft room that start with the letter K or the letter Q or the letter Y. So it was a little bit of a challenge picking a word from here, but I did decide to go with the word happy. And so one of the things that I looked at was some different stash items that I could use for each letter of this word. And so one of the things you'll notice on this page is that the letter Y only has 2 items listed. And so I decided that I was definitely going to use something yellow. And then from there, I would decide what else to do. So in addition to using the color yellow, I'm also going to use hearts, I think, and alphabet letters, and then also paper clips and probably a punch. And so I think those are the ones I'm going to use, and I'm just going to go ahead and circle here the different ones I decided on. So I'm going to use hearts, alphabets, paper clips, a punch, and the color yellow. And so I think once I figured that out, then it kind of helps me to decide what else I'm going to use for this layout. One of the things I love about challenges is that you can take the challenge and then you could use that to kind of narrow down the supplies that you're going to use for your layout. It gives you more focus and a more limited set of things to work from. And so one of the other things I wanted to do, since this is not a sketch challenge, I did decide to pull in a sketch, and I went over to the Page Maps website and found this free sketch. This is back from February 2020, and I just liked it because it has 2 photos, so I have 2 photos. I also want to use a border punch, and so I thought that would be perfect. I could punch out a border and use that there. And then instead of the stars, I was thinking about maybe using hearts, and so I think this sketch is going to work really well for my layout. So let me go ahead and share with you my pictures. I'm going to use these 2 pictures of my dog Bella. These pictures were taken, I think, about a month ago, and it was before she got her hair cut. So I just thought these pictures were cute. I wanted to scrapbook some puppy pictures, and so I just decided that it would be a fun layout to do. Now, one of the main reasons I decided to do pictures of my dog Bella was because I was using the color yellow, and so immediately, I don't know why, I just think of that color. I think it's bright, happy, cheerful colors, and I thought it would be perfect colors to use for a dog layout. So when I decided to use the color yellow, and I'm also using those pictures of my dog Bella, I immediately thought about this new theme pack that I had picked up from Creative Memories. This one is called Puppy Love. It comes with 4 sheets of double-sided paper, 2 sheets of designer stickers, and 1 sheet of cardstock. And in addition, this page here, which is kind of like the cover sheet, is also a white cardstock that you could use for your background or to match your pictures. So there is this page here that has the puppy dogs, and then the back of that one is the blue. And then there's this one here that has kind of little icons, and on the back of that one is kind of a red and white stripe. And then in addition to those papers, there's also this really bright yellow cardstock. And so I thought this theme pack would be the perfect thing to use for this layout. In addition to the papers, there are also these 2 sticker sheets here. There's one with some words and icons, and then there's also this one with some border strips. So this is what I'm going to be using for my layout. And I also am going to bring in this paper pad. This is from Crate Paper. It's called Cool Kid. I recently picked this up Tuesday mornings for only $1.99. And one of the things that I thought was so cool, this just happened to be sitting on my table because I haven't put it away yet. And when I was looking at this paper, I thought, wow, the colors in this paper pad would go perfectly with this collection. So there's a red paper here, and there was also a yellow paper. And then there's this paper here with the little puppy dogs. Now this one does have some aqua, which is not in this collection. So I may not use that paper, but it did have some other ones like this red and white stripe. I thought that went perfectly with this collection. And this yellow paper, I love this paper. So I may use some of the paper from this 6x6 paper pad as well. And so I think that's all I'm going to talk about now. I'm going to go ahead and get started working on this layout. And y'all know I can't scrap and talk at the same time. So I'm going to stop talking and start scrapping. And I will do a voiceover and speed this up so that I can talk you through this layout. So let's go ahead and get started. So I did put a copy of the sketch up there on the screen at the top right hand corner so y'all can follow along as I create this layout. I'm starting out by choosing the papers that I'm going to use on the right hand side, and then for my background I decided to use the yellow cardstock for the border strip. And I wanted to look through this paper pad just to kind of see if there was anything here that I thought I might use. And I pulled out a couple of sheets, and I ended up not using either one of those papers. But I did go back later and pulled out another paper from that paper pad that I used for this layout. Okay, so now that I have my paper selected, I started looking through the embellishments and just trying to think of what I'm going to use for my title. So I wanted to use this Stay Sweet. It's from Amy Tangerine's Stay Sweet collection. And this is a pack of stickers that I have here. They're foam. I'm also going to use some stickers from the Simple Stories Life is Ruff collection. And I have this one sticker on that Simple Stories Easter collection that I wanted to use. And it just says, "You crack me up." And my little dog Bella, I always tell her that. She does the funniest things, and I'm always telling her, "You just crack me up." So I thought that would be funny to use that sticker on this layout. So I still wasn't sure what my title was going to be, and I knew that I had to use the word happy. So I went back through my stickers and found a couple of different ones to try out. And there's one there from the One Canoe Saturday Afternoon. It had the word happy, and also the Shimelle Little by Little also had a happy, and it was a white foam sticker. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside for now because I still wasn't sure what my title was going to be, and when I don't know what to do, I just move on to something else. So I'm going to go ahead and take this paw punch. This is a border punch from EK Tools, and I'm going to punch out this border strip using this yellow cardstock. And I'm also going to start cutting up my papers here. I did cut this strip at 2 inches, and then I believe this one I cut at 4 inches. And I'm going to use that puppy paper on the top of my layout and then the red stripe on the side. I did grab a piece of just really thin paper. I wanted to piece this together because I didn't really have a lot of this collection. I wanted to kind of make sure that I didn't use the paper if I didn't need to. And so I'm going to use that extra piece of paper to just kind of piece my background together. Okay, so let's work on the photos now. I'm going to take this paper trimmer. This is from Creative Memories. It's the most awesome trimmer for trimming photos. It cuts so cleanly. I just love this trimmer. I'm just going to cut these photos down, and when I did that, I realized that that photo that I thought was going to be a 4x6 ended up to be a lot shorter. So it's not going to really work for my sketch, and I'm going to have to try to adapt the sketch to fit my pictures. I was thinking about using that yellow pattern paper from that Cool Kid paper pad as the mat, but it wasn't really big enough to fit that picture. So I'm just going to go ahead and use some white cardstock. So here I'm using the We Are Memory Keepers layering guides to make a 1/8 inch border all the way around my pictures, and I did mat both my pictures. If you're interested in learning more about using those guides, I do have a video on my channel where I talk about how to use them and give some tips, and I will leave a link to that video in the description below. Okay, so here's where I'm going to create my background using this ugly paper that I pulled out of my stash. I just have a stack of paper that's kind of older paper. It's very thin, and I just use it whenever I want to kind of save on my nicer scrapbooking paper. I use it to piece layouts together, and so that's what I did there. So one of my biggest challenges with this layout was that I was using a sketch, but my pictures were not the right size. And you're going to see here that they don't fit across the layout. And I'm going to need to adjust this layout a little bit and go off the sketch so that I can make this work. And what I end up doing is actually overlapping the pictures. And that works much better because, for one, the pictures are not the same height. So that looks a little bit weird. And the second thing was that the two pictures together were just too wide to fit across the space that I had there. Now, I did want to put that foam piece that said "Stay Sweet" at the top of the layout. I just thought it stood out really well against that pattern paper, and it brought the blue up to the top of the layout. Now, as I was looking at the layout, now that I had the pictures overlapping, I noticed that the two papers that I was using for my background, they just kind of looked disjointed. So I wanted something to kind of join those two papers together. And I'm flipping through this 6x6 paper pad, and I pulled out this paper. The paper that I selected did have some aqua, but it also had the dark blue, the yellow, and the red. And I did think that it went really well with the papers that I have here. I also thought that having the variety of color in that pattern really kind of tied the two papers together and blended the top of the layout and the bottom of the layout. Now, you're not going to really see a whole lot of that pattern paper that I put there, but I'm going to use a piece of the paper down there at the bottom. Now, on the sketch, they had a little rectangle piece of paper coming out from the bottom of the second picture, and so you'll see there that I had put that piece of paper there, but I don't know, I didn't like how that looked, so I'm going to end up changing it. And one of the other things that was kind of a challenge here was that they did have a piece of the border strip going under the picture on the left, but because I was overlapping the pictures, I wasn't really sure if I would do that. So I'm just going to work on my title instead, because I couldn't really kind of figure out what to do with those different elements that were at the bottom of the layout. I did decide to use this foam thicker. This is from the Shimelle Little by Little collection. And so I have the "Stay Sweet" and then the word "happy." So at this point, I didn't really know what my title was going to be, but I knew that I was going to use the "happy." And here I'm trying to put that rectangle piece of paper. I thought maybe about matting it with the yellow cardstock, and I just really didn't like how that looked underneath that picture. I think it was partly because that picture was kind of wide, and then the rectangular piece I had was very narrow. It just looked kind of strange. Okay, so here's where I was trying to figure out where I was going to put the border strips. So I thought about putting them under both pictures, and then I just grabbed that piece of paper and I turned it sideways, and I like that so much better. So I'm going to go ahead and start sticking this down now that I have figured out how I'm going to lay my pictures out and what I'm going to be doing at the bottom of the layout. I'm using a T-square ruler to line this piece up. I did want to mention that I do try to list all of the products and tools that I use in each video in the description below. And I also have a link to my Amazon store, which has all of my favorite crafty products and organization products and everything pretty much that I use in my craft room. I will sometimes get questions about the different tools or products that I'm using, and so I did want to just mention that so y'all know that you can look there in the description of each video. And if I've left out something or you have a question about something, please just leave a comment on the video, and I usually respond back within a day. Okay, so back to the layout. I'm still trying to figure out my title and where I should kind of place the title. And I decided to bring in these mini alphas and make my title Stay Sweet and Be Happy. I kind of wanted to join those two pieces together and make one large title, but I still am going to keep the Stay Sweet at the top of the layout and then the bottom part of the title at the bottom. Okay, so here's where I decided that I would go ahead and add these little border pieces under each picture instead of just putting them under one picture. And I'm going to layer a couple of different pieces there. I'm going to use a piece of the yellow cardstock and also a piece of that pattern paper. And I think I cut some of this out because I did punch out some more of these border strips, and I edited that out of the video, so that's why those just magically appeared. I also did punch out some of these border strips using that yellow pattern paper that I pulled from the 6x6 paper pad, and I ended up not using it just because it was a different color yellow from the yellow border that I had on the right hand side there, and I didn't think it really added to the look and feel of the layout to have that be a different paper. And I did have more of the yellow cardstock available, so I just decided to go ahead and use that instead. I think sometimes using too many pattern papers can make your layout look disjointed, especially if they're very close to the same color or pattern, and using the same paper makes it look more cohesive. So I did end up going back and just using the yellow cardstock. Okay, so I did end up putting the rest of that 6x6 pattern paper there under that photo, and I'm going to use it as a base for my title. So I needed to bring in some paper clips for the challenge, so I just pulled out two little doggy paper clips from my stash. And I did end up not using those because I thought that they blended in too much into that pattern paper, and so I'm not going to end up using those. So I thought that my border looked a little bit plain, and I decided to add this border strip, and this was from the Creative Memories Puppy Love theme pack, and I thought that was really cute. It's all little bitty balls in different colors, like tennis balls. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do here is look for some embellishments, and I got this what is that called? A fire hydrant from the Life is Ruff Simple Stories collection, that sticker sheet there. And I decided I wanted to put a cluster there at the bottom left hand corner. And so I created a tag using the Creative Memories 3-in-1 tag punch, which that punch is really cool, but it's no longer available from Creative Memories, which kind of makes me sad. But you could find it on eBay or in a place that sells things secondhand. Okay, so I'm going to add some blue and white twine. And this was some twine I picked up recently at Hobby Lobby. They had all of their Paper Studio products on sale. And I wanted to add to the twine that I have because I often will run into a problem where I don't have the color that I want for our layout. And so I was really happy to get that, and it was really kind of cool that I had the perfect color of blue for this layout. I was a little concerned that the blue would kind of blend into the blue background, but I am going to glue that twine down so that it kind of stands out against the yellow tag. Okay, so I'm going to cut this off so that it's flush with the edge of my layout. And when I flipped the paper over, I really did like it the other way, but there was no way I was going to be able to kind of flip the layout upside down at that point because I had already glued down the dog pattern paper and also that photo, and if I would have flipped it upside down, everything would have been going in the wrong direction. So I'm going to just be happy with the way that I have it here, but I really think it would have been cool to have that red and white stripe border on the opposite side of the page and have that tag at the top, but that's okay. I like it like this, and so sometimes you just have to go with what you started, especially if you've already glued things down. Okay, so I'm really trying to use these paper clips on this layout because it was part of my challenge to use paper clips because it was one of the things I selected for the word happy. I needed to use hearts, alphas, punches, paper clips, and yellow, the color yellow. And so you're going to see me struggle a little bit with trying to figure out how to put the paper clips on this layout. I didn't really like it there at the bottom, and where I had it at the top above the picture was really cute, but you couldn't see it at all. It was kind of just blending right into that pattern paper. And so I'm going to end up not using those, but I just left this in here because I just want to show people that sometimes when you have something that's not working, then it's okay to just go ahead and change that. Okay, so I'm pulling in some more stickers. I put a little word sticker up there under the Stay Sweet. I think it says something like love, live, play. And then at the bottom there is a little sticker that says love, and I popped that up onto some foam tape. Now I needed to add hearts because one of the other things in my challenge was to use hearts. And I did try to use those little stickers that were hearts. I don't know about you, but I have a really hard time using hearts. It's a kind of a strange shape, and you can't tuck it into anything because if you tuck it under something, then you lose the shape of the heart and it doesn't look like a heart anymore. And I have a really hard time sometimes using hearts, but I just went ahead and took those off the layout, and I'm going to have to try to figure something else out because I just did not like how those hearts looked. I did decide to pull in some dogs from the Life is Ruff Simple Stories collection. I think that Life is Ruff collection is just one of the most adorable dog collections ever, and I love all of the different dogs that they have. And I have bought that sticker sheet probably 3 or 4 times, and I just love that collection. It's really awesome. Okay, so here I'm going back to look at all the words that I could possibly use to kind of complete my challenge. And at this point, I did try to use some more paper clips, and I thought, well, maybe I can like kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone by using a heart-shaped paper clip, but that didn't work out either. So I ended up not using those. Now I did find these Puffy stickers. These are from Amy Tangerine's the Slice of Life collection. And so I decided, well, I'm just going to use a Puffy sticker because that starts with the letter P. And so I ended up just scrapping the paperclip idea and going with the Puffy stickers. Now I also found these Puffy stickers in my stash. These are from Evalicious. It's the On the Way Puffy stickers. And they kind of got a travel theme, but I was able to find a little circle with a heart in the middle, and I added that on top of the fire hydrant there, and I thought that was really cute. I also added a red heart there at the top next to the Stay Sweet. And so I decided I wanted to add some more dogs to my layout. I do like to kind of put the similar elements in each one of my clusters. And on this layout, I do have 3 clusters. I have a cluster there at the top, a cluster there at the bottom, and then the one next to Happy. And so I really thought that it would be really fun to add a dog to each one of those clusters. So I decided to add this little dog here, and I just thought that little dog was super cute and just funny. And I decided that I would tilt that little puppy dog at an angle, and I thought that was really cute there tucked under that love, and then the sticker below that that says, "You crack me up." Okay, so I did pop up these little dogs onto some foam tape. And I added this one here, which is a little white dog. I put that one there at the top of the picture next to the Stay Sweet. I did move this stuff around quite a bit. If y'all have watched my scrapbook process videos in the past, you do know that I'm not a quick decision maker, and I do tend to play musical kind of embellishments. And I just moved them around and around and around. I think there was one layout once that I was doing this patriotic layout, and I thought it was so funny that I left it in there, but I played some, I think the Star Spangled Banner to my movements of moving my different fireworks and different little die cuts and things around the layout, and I thought that was super funny. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stick that little dog down. I'm still kind of messing around with that red heart, but it's going to end up right there tucked in between the dog and the Stay Sweet. I did also add some Puffy stickers that were flowers, and I put a flower, and I think I put one at the top of the layout above the Stay Sweet, and then also by the fire hydrant, and then in front of the word happy. And I did also use some little puppy paw stickers. They were just flat stickers, and those were from the Life is Ruff Simple Stories collection. In addition to using the little heart puppy stickers, I also pulled out this one. It was like a little dog head, and I just thought that was super adorable, and I tucked it there on top of the Stay Sweet. Kind of looks like that little dog is peeking up above that. And I also they had another little dog that was kind of laying down, I guess with its paws down, but its rear end up. And that was also a little puffy sticker, and I added that one there right above the word happy. So this layout is pretty close to being done. Please stick around if you would like to see close-ups of this layout, because I did kind of show y'all close-ups, and I have some still pictures. I don't have a video clip to add at the end of this video with my two dogs, so I'm really sorry about that, but I am going to try to take more videos of them, and I did recently purchase a GoPro camera because I want to be able to do more videos where I'm not having to hold on to the camera. I'm also going to be using that GoPro. I'm hoping to be able to do some more organization videos and also maybe a craft room tour. I have to learn how to use it first though, so that's going to be something on my list of things to kind of accomplish over the next few weeks. And I'm hoping that that's really going to be able to allow me to do more filming of my dogs and also of different things in my craft room. Okay, so that's all I have for this video. And I hope I've given you some inspiration on how you can complete this challenge for the scraparts-blogspot.com. What's my challenge for this month? And I hope you will join us for this challenge. It's really a lot of fun. So if you like this video, please give it a like, and if you would like to see more videos like this, please subscribe. I would love to have you join my channel. And so I hope to see you next time. Y'all take care and have an awesome day. Bye now.